He survived the wounds of war, only to return home and meet a tragic death at Darien Lake.
Sergeant James Hackemer lived life to the fullest, even in the trying aftermath of battle. And tonight, we share the untold story. Here's News 4's George Rickard.
They have such a great strength that amazes me. They're an American-believing family that you fight for your country.
In a family of 6 children, 4 served in the military, but none paid the price that the youngest did.
When he found out that he lost his legs, he cried for a week.
James Hackemer grew up in a farmhouse outside of Gowanda, graduated from Gowanda High School, and went on to become a sergeant in the U.S. Army.
And he was the lead convoy. And
his father, Navy veteran John Hackemer, describes the day in March of 2008 when the Humvee James was riding in ran over an improvised explosive device in Iraq. An Army medic in the next vehicle rushed to his side.
he said he got out of the vehicle, went to the side door, opened the door, pulled James out, woke him up, said, "James, stay with us."
James's heart stopped twice, once in the Army helicopter and once in the hospital. He spent months in a coma.
He was brain dead, but the family would not let them pull the plug. But his father said this, "James, in the name of Jesus Christ, open your eyes." At that instant, he blinked his eyes. His brother John, 2 years older, said to him, "James, don't worry. If you can't walk, I'll carry you." And for 1 year, he carried him. He bathed him. He took care of him. He fed him, everything.
I was really fortunate to be put into this position and really glad that I could be there for James. It's like, it has created a purpose for me in my life.
Nearly 7 months after the blast, he was finally able to come home, temporarily. That's when he first told us of a vision he believes he had, of heaven and hell, that day when he died twice.
I remember going on this, like, it seemed like a railroad or something, like a train down to this pit, like molten rock and stuff, just people all down there, like, screaming. I was going down there. I couldn't stop from going down there. I was so scared. I remember the Army grabbed me and pulled me out. And then I remember going to this bright room. It was like the most beautiful room I've ever sat in my entire life. Just, there was people there, just there, like, comforting me. "James, everything's gonna be okay."
It was that vision and the hope of raising his 2 little daughters as a now divorced dad that would help carry him through years of rehabilitation.
I want to live my life to the fullest from here on out, and no regrets. Just looking forward to my life ahead of me.
He never was angry. He never gave up. He always kept looking forward and just lived life.
Even pro athletes took notice.
Enjoy the game, bud. Glad you're here, man. Thanks for the support.
The Bills invited him onto the field for a road game in New England, where James was going through rehab.
I consider up in Boston like my rebirth, because I had to learn how to do everything. I had to learn how to talk, write, read, see, eat.
After 3 full years in and out of rehabilitation, he finally came home to stay this past April.
I never thought I'd see this day.
He wasn't limited, and he really, that's all he wanted. He wanted to just push forward and do as much as he could.
That thirst for life is what brought him to Darien Lake.
His mission was to get on the Superman.
When you saw him get in, did the workers know that he was handicapped?
Oh, yes, they did. They knew he was handicapped. He had no legs.
The lap restraint system couldn't hold James in. He fell out on the last hill.
News 4's George Rickard is live in Genesee County tonight with the latest. George?
Well, Jackie, there are very few stories I know I will never forget. And one of those stories is the story of Sergeant James Hackemer.
An adult male guest came out of the ride of steel roller coaster, and we are saddened to report that the guest has passed away.
I did talk with Hackemer's father and mother here tonight. They didn't want to be on camera, but when asked about him going on that roller coaster, they told me that's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to live.
However long he was on that ride, a minute and a half.
Yeah,
It had to have been
the best time in the last 3.5 years.
None of us hold Darien Lake accountable. James knew what he wanted to do, and there was no denying him when he was on a mission. That's all he talked about. So.
And they've always overcome everything with such a positive outlook. Not like, why did this happen to me, but what can we do to make it better? And it's a family that I admire.
We had 3.5 years, though, with James that we were told we would never have.
You know, it isn't how long you live. It's what you do when you live and what you experience when you live. But he experienced more in his lifetime than most people do in 80 or 90 or 100 years.
Everybody that he touched
Will
always remember James and James's story, and that in itself is a legacy.
This is going to touch people. It's going to touch hearts. People need, this is a message of hope.
I want people to know that God has been there for me since the beginning. He's had my hand on me since the beginning. I want people to know that He is there for everybody. No matter what they're going through, know that He's always there by your side. So if you're down, just go turn to Him. He'll pick you right back up.
In 3 weeks, the Hackemer family goes to Washington, D.C. to bury James at Arlington National Cemetery with full military honors. Reporting live, George Rickert, News 4 at 5.